Hey everybody, welcome to episode 6 of our Radio Craftsman cabinet work. So what we're going to see in this episode is I'm going to show you I've started doing the construction. So I put some dowels in, I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I'm also going to show you the process I'm using to do the dowels. That's interesting. And then I'm going to show you the grill cloth that we're going to use on the front of the radio. And then lastly I'm going to show you the hairpin legs that we're going to use. So let's get into it. First thing we're going to do is show you where we currently are in the project. And then we'll get to the Dowling demo. That'll be pretty cool. Be right back. Okay, here's where we currently are. We have this front panel completely connected with dowels to that base. We have our two speaker baffles connected, one here, and this one here is drying. And I'm going to give you a close-up of that and show it to you. So let's do that. Okay, so you could see we're using really simple joints here. And when I'm putting these side panels in, I'm obviously using a speed square, just so I make sure everything is exactly where it needs to be. And it is. Everything is perfect. Alright, we've got our unit perfectly square. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. And then if we come over here to this side, we've got the same thing. Everything fits perfectly. Alright, everything's good. So what's next on the construction? Zoom out. Well, we're going to put it, if you see these lines here, you may not be able to see it, but there's a line right here. That's where the chassis extends out to. So what we're going to do is we're going to put another board here to act as a speaker baffle, and we're going to put a port through it so that the air can escape, because remember this is going to be sealed on top and sealed in the back. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, and then we're going to be ready to install the back. And once that's done, then we just have to work on the top. Now the way I envision the top going is there's going to be a piece of wood that obviously goes from here to about here. That's going to be stationary. Okay, and it's just going to be on top. It's the same type of wood as the bottom. And then we're going to have the same thing on this side. The piece of wood's going to come out to about here. And then we're going to have to work on our hinged area right here with the beveled glass that I showed you. So that's going to be coming up in a few episodes. It's going to take me a while to get to that. But for the time being, let's go down and take a look at the Dowling process that we used in order to get this perfect. Because that's really what it is perfect. There was no luck involved here. So let's do that. Okay guys, we're out in our workshop here, and I'll give you a tour of the workshop in a moment. But what I'm going to demonstrate is joining these two pieces of wood together, like this. These were the speaker cutouts that I originally did, and I made the holes too big, so they're scrap. So, of course, first thing you want to do when you're going to join two pieces of wood together, you want to make sure that they're square at the top, which they are. So this is going to be piece number 1, and this is going to be piece number 2. Now, let's talk about how we do this. So what I'm using is a Milescraft 1309 Dowel Jig. And why did I get this? I got this because I don't have a lot of experience doing dowels, and I want to do a good job. I don't want to waste lumber. Lumber's expensive. So I wanted to make sure I got something that was kind of foolproof, and this set is absolutely foolproof. So let's talk about the set after we drop a piece. Okay, so what do you get? Well, first thing you get is the jig right here. And you'll see it's got an opening for a 5/16 hole, a 3/8 inch hole, and a 1/4 inch hole. And they also give you dowels. So we have some 5/16 here, 3/8 and 1/4 inch. They also give you the drill bits right here, one for each size. So that's included. They give you some glue, they give you a fence, which I'll show you, and they give you some collars so you can determine the depth that you need to drill. It's really pretty simple. So the first thing we're going to do is decide what size dowel we're going to use to join these. Well, I think we're going to use the small one, which is a 1/4 inch. For a piece of wood that's 5/8 inch, you definitely want to go something small. So let's talk about how we do it. Let's move this out of the way for a moment. Don't need it right now. So here's our piece of wood. And you have to assume that we're going to put the dowels in the meatiest part here. So we're going to say somewhere around here. Okay? So what you do is you take this jig and you turn it upside down, And like so. Sorry, I had to stop the camera for a moment. Okay, so we're going to take our jig. I'm going to put it right here with the pegs, right there and there. We're going to hold our jig down with one hand, and take our drill and drill down. Just like that, we have a perfectly centered hole. Let's do the same thing on this side. Okay, same thing. We put our drill in without power, turned on. Okay, cool. Now we have our two holes. Now what you do here is you don't want to put any glue in these holes yet. You just want to dry fit everything. So there's one, and there's two. So we have our two dowels in. Okay, so now we're going to join these two pieces of wood together. So how do we do that? Well, first thing we want to do is we want to mark the center line of this board. Okay? Let's do that first. Let's measure it. Let me get my ruler out. It's right here. And we know that this board is 3/4 inch, which makes our center line, 3/8. Right there. I'm going to mark it again here. I'm going to mark it again here. Okay. Now we're going to take a straight edge, like so. I'm just going to draw a nice little reference line here. And that noise you hear in the background is my fan. I'm in the garage in Florida. You can imagine what that's like. Okay. So we now have a reference line. This is where the cool part starts. So now we're going to take our piece with the dowels and our piece with the reference line like this. We're going to take our jig. We're going to insert the dowel into this 1/4 inch hole right here on the top. And we're going to line up the jig with the fence so that that center line shows through the window. And we want that fence to be completely flush against the piece. And there it is right there. We're going to tighten that down. Alright, it's right there. Now we're going to test on this side. Okay, good. Now we've got a bingo. Now we don't have to adjust the depth of the bit because we're basically joining the same way. So we're just going to insert that drill bit down to the stop. And do the same thing here. Now ideally I should be clamping these two pieces of wood together. That's the ideal way to do this if they don't shift on me. But for demo purposes and a piece of scrap wood, this is how we're going to do it. Okay. Now in theory, these two pieces should line up perfectly. And there you have it. So now when I glue these, we're good. Obviously when I clamp them, this space will disappear. And I'd have to sand the edges down, and you could see that my joint was a little bit off because I didn't have it clamped correctly. But you get the idea how this works. Now obviously when I worked on the radio cabinet that I'm building, I wasn't as sloppy as I was here. But that's how this works. Okay, so you get the idea how this is done. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give you a brief tour of my shop that I've built. I put this together primarily so I can do woodworking, which I have a lot of learning to do, but I enjoy doing it, and let me take you on a little tour of that. Alright, let's start here. Here we have an oscillating sander. It's got a belt sander and it's got spindles. So that's number one. Over there we have a 3-gallon pancake air compressor. Over here we have a compound miter saw. Over here we have a Wen drill press. That's going to come in a lot of handy. Over here we have a Bosch router table. And over here we have our DeWalt table saw. That's my shop. I've got lots of cabinets. I just put a bunch of cabinets up for storage. There's my toolbox right there. And we've got more cabinets and things. And then if I pull this back a little bit, down here I have a workbench that's on wheels that I can roll outside so I don't create a lot of sawdust. And this is also on wheels as well. So this is our shop. This is where we're going to do all of our woodwork. So, let's get to it. Let's continue building our radio cabinet. Okay, I want to give you a view of what this is going to look like from the back. So here's the board that I just mentioned that we're going to put in, which is going to be kind of our speaker enclosure. Well, you'll notice this board is much shorter than here. So I've got about an inch gap here where air can escape. And when I put the speaker in, I'm also going to be putting in some sound deadening insulation in there so that it really creates some cool bass response. And I've got the same thing on this side. And this is what the stationary pieces on top will look like, essentially. And then there'll be a large bar here. Actually, I have it right here. That goes across the top, like so. Obviously, it has to be cut to size. But this is going to provide the stability for the top. And there'll be about a 1/4 of an inch gap here. That's going to come out. And of course, this will be closed in at some point. But there's going to be about a 1/4 of an inch gap that allows the sound or the air to escape into the chassis. So that's how we're going to build it. I have no idea what the speakers will sound like, but they're made for a car stereo, so I assume small space is good. So I'm going to get these 2 boards installed using our Dowel process that I just showed you. We'll get them installed, glued, ready to go. And then we could start to build that back strip across the back that I showed you. So let me get those 2 pieces installed with dowels, and then we'll be right back. Alright, we have one of our panels installed here, and I've just got it clamped so it can dry. But one thing I want to reiterate is what this is going to look like. Now, some of you may be looking at this and going, what the hell is he doing? There's different kinds of wood. He's got wood putty in there. What is he going to do with this thing? So this is a good time to remind you that this entire front, and I mean the entire front, and the sides, are going to be covered in grill cloth. That's what mid-century modern really is, right? So I don't really care about what this wood looks like. I just want it to be smooth and flush. So you'll notice here, for example, on this board that I put in for the speaker baffle, I actually put dowels in through the front. Perfectly cool with that. You're not going to see them. I actually put one here as well for this baffle. So let me get the grill cloth and show you what it's going to look like, and maybe you'll have a better idea of what we're going for here. So let me go grab it. Alright, so this will give you an idea what I'm looking at. I just have a sample piece here, clamped. This is going to wrap all the way around. Let me show you. Like so, right around the corners. And let's give you a close-up of it so you can see what it looks like. And it's kind of a gray, herringbone, sparkly side thing. This side actually has a little bit more sheen, so I haven't decided which side I'm going to use yet. I'm probably going to use the one that's a little more sheenish so I can get some reflection. Got to remember, this is mid-century. Matter of fact, let's flip that around while you're watching. You can tell me which one you like. I think I like this one a little bit better. It reflects the light really well. Yeah, I like that one. So you guys tell me which one you like. But essentially, like I stated earlier, this will go across the entire face and the sides of the unit. So that's why I don't really care about the wood in the front. I just want it to be strong, and I want it to be flat and smooth, which we are achieving. That's the plan. So let me know what you think about the grill cloth. Let's continue. Alright guys, here's a good look of where we are. I have to attach this and this. I haven't done that yet. And this is, of course, going to be our hinge door, so it's just laying there as well. Let's flip it around. I'll show you the back. You can see here we've installed our bar on top. This is where the hinge is actually going to be installed for the door. And the radio chassis comes out to here and is relatively flush with the back. So I'm probably going to build up just a little bit here, but I may leave it open for ventilation. I'm not sure yet. And then of course I have to build something to close in this section for the speaker. That's easy. That's just another piece of this wood here. So we're in good shape for today. It's Florida. I'm outside. It's hot. So I think we're going to wrap it up for this episode. One thing I want to tell you about is I'm going to be doing another episode today that I'm going to put up. Our good friend Terry from D-Lab got an email from someone who had a Zenith radio that they wanted to restore. And it turns out they were from Florida, so Terry referred them to me, so that's really cool. So I'll go through that in the next episode. But for now, that's our cabinet coming along really well. Please let me know what you think about the grill cloth, guys. All right? Talk to you guys later. Enjoy some Florida sunshine right there. Beautiful. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Hey guys, one last thing I want to show you. Here's the legs we're going to be using. It's a hairpin leg. Pretty tall, off the ground. Heavy duty. This is what we're going to be using as our stand for our cabinet. So now you get an idea of what I'm looking for here. Take care, guys.